Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the WOG YouTube channel. This morning I thought I'd talk about my little bus here. This is a 1971 that I bought from the original owner up in Kentucky. They had a 92 SP that they called me about selling, and so we're talking, and this is why I like talking on the phone more than texting, is because you never know what you're going to run into when you're talking to people. So I'm talking to the son of the owners of this coach, the both owners that passed away, his mom and dad, and they also had this 92 SP in a barn. This was in the barn next to it, and they bought both of them new. They bought this one and traveled all over the country, Alaska. The only place that didn't go was Baja, California. And he asked me if I ever went down there in this coach to take pictures and send him the pictures. So there was a lot of interesting stories about this coach. Now, this was a gas engine, a 534 Ford, and the lady, she did not like propane, so the stove was never used, the oven was never used, the propane heat was never used. They actually they put a house fridge in it, they took the propane fridge out, they had an inverter in it, and from way back, I mean, way back, 71. So he was telling me, well, I was listening to 92 to sell it, and then he got telling me about this, and I got really interested. So he's telling me the stories that his mother was quite an unusual lady, and she just would follow her nose when they traveled a lot. She never really had a plan. And so they were going to New York State for a rally, and they lived in Kentucky. I forget exactly what city that was. They were farmers. So they're getting ready to go. They got the bus all loaded up, and he was about 17 or 18, and he did most of the driving. So they get in the bus, and his mother says to his dad, I heard about this steakhouse that I'd like to stop at on the way, and she said, I'd really like to go there. They say it's really good food. And dear old dad, he loved his wife. He said, okay. He said, where is it? And she said, Phoenix. He said, Phoenix, Arizona? And she said, yeah. Now remember, they're leaving Kentucky, going to New York City, and Phoenix is the wrong way. But he loved his wife, and off they go to Phoenix. So they go to Phoenix, and they have steak, and it was wonderful, and they loved it and all that. And so they're getting ready to leave Phoenix, and she says, I heard about this breakfast place. It's got really good waffles. And the dad says, yeah, well, okay, where is that? And that was in Southern California somewhere. So off they go to Southern California to eat waffles and pancakes. And, just great stories. They were gone for months. And the son just laughed. He said, my mom was quite unusual, and my dad loved her. So they just went wherever she said, just all about food mostly. So every one of these old coaches has got a great story. If you take the time to listen to the people that had them, and it's just so much really interesting, funny stuff, brings a smile to your face. So it's always good. Now these people also did some stock car racing early on, NASCAR stuff, from what I gathered. He didn't give me a lot of information on that, but this engine, it was a good running engine in this bus, gas 534 Ford, and he said they put some kind of marine intake manifold on it. I don't know, I couldn't tell you, I'd never seen one before. And it had a Holley projection fuel injection system on it, had dual exhaust on it with 2 glass packs going right out the back. And boy, the old thing sounded good, and it ran good. I bought it, drove it around the block, pulled the engine out, and put a Cummins 8.3. But they just did all kinds of stuff, and the original owner's manual, there wasn't a blue box in those days, but there was a file drawer, and it was full of stuff. Information on fish carburetors. Some of you old guys might remember the fish carburetor that's supposed to get all this great mileage and stuff, but I don't know if it ever did. I've never actually seen a fish carburetor that I know of. But I have all that stuff, and it's really cool. that, you know, even though this thing probably got 3 miles to the gallon, that they were trying to improve performance and probably mileage too. Now it started out green and white, and I don't think the mom liked green, so they painted it blue, and it had green seats and green carpet, and then they carpeted right over the original carpet with blue carpet, and they did reupholster the seats and stuff. So it was blue and white when I got it. And at the time I got it, I wasn't really interested in redoing the whole interior, but I did want to paint it, and I had a painter working for me in-house. He worked every day for me. And so he painted it right here, sanded it all down to bare metal around all the rivets, scraped around them with a little pick, and just prepped it phenomenally. This painter, Greg is his name, he's very, very meticulous about prep, but he can't ever quite pick the spray gun up. You know, it's just never quite ready. So he fooled around with it for a year, and he worked cheap, because that's okay, and I paid him by the hour. And he finally got it painted. It looks pretty good. It's been painted now about 8 years, I guess. And you know, we changed the engine, and we changed the generator, and then I decided I was gonna gut it. So we gutted it from end to end and redid all the interior, and it's about 90% done in there. It's not good enough, clean enough. There's screws and tools and stuff everywhere. I'll get the inside cleaned out and blown out and vacuumed out, and we'll get some, you know, some video of that. And it's just interesting to me that the stories that you hear. So they had this coach, the old people, and they went to the rally in the valley in '91 in it. And while they were at the rally, they took a factory tour, and they were building the last of the SP36s, which I think there were 7 built and titled as 92. And so they were walking down the line where they were building these 92 SPs, and Mom says, "That one's mine." And her husband said, "What?" She said, I like that coach. Buy it." And they bought it on the spot. It wasn't even completed yet, but they bought it, made a deal to buy it, and they parked this in their barn with occasional use and drove the 92 for the rest of their time in a coach. And I guess it's been about 10 years since I've had this, so I sold the 92 for them just before that. So, or about that time. So 10 years ago, so 2012 or something, 2010 maybe, I don't know. But anyway, we bought this from them right there on the spot, and I sold this 92. And I don't remember who I sold it to, but somebody's got it out there somewhere enjoying it. I had my buddy Rodney pick this up on his Landau up in Kentucky. I didn't want to take a chance on driving it. It still had the lock ring tires and hubcaps. I still have the original hubcaps that came with and all that stuff. Of course, you know, as you can see, I put alloy wheels on it, and just all kinds of stuff. But good stories, lots of Wanderlodges, had great owners and great stories. There's plenty more stories about this coach, but we'll talk about that some other time. Hey, thanks for hanging out. See ya.